And welcome everyone to Phoenix International Raceway. We're getting ready for qualifying for the Camping World Truck Series, and welcome to that NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying for the Lucas Oil 150 on speed. Avondale, Arizona, just to the west of Phoenix, downtown Phoenix. It's a gorgeous day. As Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, myself are up here in the booth. We'll have Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap down on pit road. 73 degrees is the temperature. We take a look at our Truck Series point standings. 197 remaining between Hornaday and Crafton. 2 races to go.
That's almost insurmountable for Matt Crafton.
Well, I think Michael might differ with you.
No, I'm going to get on page. I'm down with y'all this week. I tried my best to make it a real story last week, and I came up a little bit short.
Well, I like the attempt. 197 points, just to let you know, if Ron Hornaday leaves this racetrack tonight with a 195-point lead, he will be crowned the champion of the Camping World Truck Series in 2009.
That's without even going to Homestead next week.
Doesn't even need to show up for the last race, but obviously he will. Nick Tucker, the first on the racetrack for our qualifying.
Comes right out of the gate with a picture of Ron on the hood of his truck. That's bold.
See Red Rocks Cafe on the back?
Certainly, and today's Ron Herbert's birthday. So
how about it? Yeah.
He's a sponsor in the Truck Series, helps Nick Tucker out with this truck. And
Jason White at times as well.
Also, so he's a real good partner to the Truck Series. It's a restaurant on Lake Norman where all the race car drivers go visit. So it's good to see that truck with some good sponsorship on the back of it. You can really see that Red Rocks on the tailgate of that truck.
A little bit north of Charlotte in Huntersville. Are you on the menu?
I am. I
mean, you're at one of the dishes.
I'm steak and lobster.
You are?
I am, and Macy has pasta on the menu. So he does a really good job of catering to the NASCAR family. If you're a crew guy or a race car driver, or even an official or whatever your capacity is in NASCAR, you go there and eat, and Ron will take good care of you. So happy birthday, Ron.
I was talking to Ron the other day. He was talking about coming out here. I don't know if he did or not.
He's here.
Yeah.
He flew out. He and Denny Hamlin are real good buddies. He flew out with Denny, and they played a little golf. And tonight he's going to have dinner and celebrate his birthday. What a lap there. How was Nick's lap, Rick?
30.635 for Nick Tucker. That's the mark that everyone will be shooting for. Let's go down to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, last week in the setup we ran a nice story about the wives in NASCAR, and I had Eric Almirola on the show. We were riding around in the truck, and guess what? He never got around to telling me that he was going to ask Janice Goss to marry him the next day. Believe it or not, Eric and Janice got engaged last Saturday, so congratulations to them. Eric putting his helmet on, he's about 3 trucks away from going out and qualifying here at Phoenix.
I can't imagine that Eric wouldn't have told Ray the day before.
I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad that I didn't call Ray and tell him I was going to propose to my wife before I did it.
Me too.
I mean, I should have done that. Yeah, you always tell Ray if you're going to propose to the love of your life. Matt Crafton, the closest man to Ron Hornaday in the point standings now on the racetrack. He doesn't have as impressive statistics as Ron Hornaday does at this racetrack, but not bad for Matt Crafton. He's pretty solid at this racetrack. You
know, when you run for a championship, this is the first time in the Truck Series that Matt's done that, and you have such a great year, but one guy just outperformed you. You know, Ron he won 5 races in a row earlier this year. That's a little bit frustrating for a guy like Matt Crafton, getting a chance to race for a championship, but never being able just to really break down that lead to where he could get up on Ron.
Remember, Matt was leading the points before Ron strung together those 5 wins. He was about 30 or 40 points ahead of Ron going into that first win of 5 in a row for Ron, and Ron emerged with over a 200-point lead after those 5 wins.
And those 5 wins were done in 5 different fashions. What a job during the middle of summer. Not only God, you scared me.
Had to hang on to that one. Crafton coming out of 4, and I would expect we'll see that a little bit more throughout not only qualifying but the race tonight. We're going to see guys get a little loose coming off of 4.
Yeah, these tires are really a lot better on the second lap, it appears. And even though we saw that big time wiggle, watch this again now, Matt actually ran faster on this lap than he did his first lap, and he was all over the racetrack.
Yeah, that cost him easily 3 or 4 tenths of a second, Phil. So that's a tough slide there for Matt.
Even though it was 3 or 4 tenths of a second, he still ran 27.934. Speed presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying from Phoenix is brought to you by Camping World RV Rentals. Ask about the NASCAR Fan Special seasonal one-way rental starting at $9.95 per day. James Busher off the racetrack. He was second quick at 28.552, and as quickly as I have said that, Eric Almirola is on the racetrack, and he ran 27.976. That's the fastest first lap we've seen.
Yeah, and if he can just keep it straight off this fourth turn, we saw Matt Crafton lose a lot of time right there. He's going to go straight to the top of the board.
Yeah, this will be indicative of how much of a pickup we should see on the second lap. Matt only picked up about a tenth. He got a little bit of a wiggle, not quite as much as Matt did.
That still hurts, though, Phil. I mean, you think that's about a tenth of a slip right there?
Got to be. But
to
3/10 pickup by Eric Almirola. I think that's going to be indicative, maybe even more, of what we're going to see by some of these truck drivers is to pick up 3 to 4 tenths on their second lap.
And Eric's one of the first cats to go faster than he did in practice yesterday, so that's a great lap for that team.
27.650 for Eric Almirola puts him to the top of the charts. Adam Alexander.
Matt Crafton currently second behind Almirola, and I would guess based on what happened coming out of turn 4, you're just glad the truck's in one piece. That was quite a wiggle.
Yeah, track changed a ton from when we went last night. Lost a lot of grip. I mean,
here's the replay, man.
Whoa.
Locked it up a little bit there, huh?
It got a little free. It wasn't that big a real deal. I never lifted on the deal. I mean, it's still wide open. I mean, it lost. I'm sure it scuffed off speed. I mean, it probably would have ran low 80 or maybe a high 70 at that point. But it just really felt on top of the racetrack today. I mean, I know we did all that stuff at night last night, but the track has definitely slowed down. So this Australian Gold, I mean, it's going to be a lot different tonight. I mean, so we'll be all right.
3 tenths off the pole is what Crafton is, currently second behind Almirola.
On the racetrack, Colin Brown.
Colin is a great qualifier.
Yeah,
he's got 3 poles this year already, I think.
He's going to have to work extremely hard if he wants to get the pole here, though. 28.402 for his first lap. He'll have to pick it up almost 8 tenths of a second.
I don't think it would surprise me any team to get it down into the 27s.
Yeah, I think at 65 may be a little bit out of reach.
3 guys that were extremely good in practice earlier. As we see another wiggle out of the truck coming out of turn 4. Colin Brown moves up to second, 27.831. So actually a very good pickup. But there were 3 guys, Johnny Sauter, Kevin Harvick, and Ron Hornaday, extremely good in practice.
We've seen every truck so far.
Every single one.
And what happens is you run your first lap, and you know it's just going to be conservative and make sure your tires are up under you, and then you ask that truck to give you all it's got. And they've gotten off 2 okay. It's a little bit more of a sweeping exit off turn 2, so you get your truck a little bit better off 2, and then by the time you get to 4, you're ready to go. You know, as a race car driver, you're like, I'm going to mat this thing, and the trucks just aren't taking it yet.
And you know you have to. You know you have to mat that thing when you get in the corner. Here's David Starr and the Zachary Toyota.
A little rubbing of the tires there to get him warmed up as he comes to the green flag. Let's go back trackside to Ray.
Hey guys, before Taylor Malsom got started in his stock car career, he ran sprint cars out on the West Coast, and he has a very close friend that was a teammate on that group, and it's Travis Roots. And Travis had a serious accident earlier this year at Terre Haute, Indiana, and Taylor has a nice get well and fight hard sticker on the hood of his number 81 this weekend, all going out to Travis, telling him to get better real soon. He's got a long way to go, but Taylor thinking about him each and every week. Adam?
Eric Almirola picks up from what he ran in practice yesterday and top of the board. What'd you think?
It's pretty good. We didn't make a qualifying run yesterday, so we're kind of judging ourselves off of Crafton because he was second in practice last night. So really proud of all the guys on this akawareness.com Tundra. It drove really good last night, and Doug George and all these guys made a few adjustments for qualifying today. It didn't drive exactly how I wanted it to, but it's pretty good. So I don't think it'll be the pole, but it'll be top 5, and that's important here.
And I know on behalf of our entire speed crew, and in particular Ray, we offer our congratulations on your engagement.
Yeah, thank you. And she couldn't be out here this weekend. She started a new job, so things are looking up.
He's already put her to work, guys.
Well,
That's a Coke. That's a Coke Zero drinking dude right there, isn't it? You will not get an interview with Eric Almirola without him having his Coca-Cola with him.
David Starr coming off the racetrack. He is 4th quick of the 6 that have been on the track. 28.285. Everyone is picked up on their second lap, which we would expect to see unless someone has a big bobble. Now on the racetrack, the 11 of TJ Bell.
That makes me think Matt Crafton, who obviously now is going to probably end up, I wouldn't even doubt, maybe outside the top 10 in qualifying. He would have had a pretty good lap had he not had that huge bobble up off the floor.
Well, he was second fast in practice yesterday, like Almirola said, so obviously he's got a fast truck. And he picked up despite what we saw off turn 4, so you're right, Phil. He was rolling when that went down.
Again, a unique racetrack here at Phoenix. A lot of people say flat, 9-degree banking at one end, 11 degrees at the other. Golfers would call it a dog leg, maybe on the backstretch.
So would I, and I'm not really a golfer.
We've actually played with you, and we know that you're really not a golfer.
Wow. I don't think I would have went down that road. I thought
Watch out,
oh,
TJ.
look at there. You can't get any closer than that.
Hugs the wall coming out of turn number 2. That's that dog leg we talked about as he went down into turn 3.
We'd call it kidney shaped.
Yep.
We would call this racetrack kidney shaped a little bit.
You know, I was standing up watching the nationwide cars practice, and Phil, visually, you would promise someone that Dover, Delaware would set down inside of this mile track. I mean, this is a huge looking racetrack from above, but they're both a mile. Watch this. This is awesome. Watch
right
TJ
on the wall.
And look, the dust flying up, so he's doesn't have all the grip he wants.
Wow.
And he never touched it.
Yeah, that looked like he was about 3 or 4 inches. Now watch from this view here. See him, he's chasing it up the hill there. You know, there it looks like he's about, well,
no, I'd say an inch.
He's close enough.
And you know, the thing that
I was wondering how that view was not going to show up as close, because we knew it was within inches.
So he comes off the racetrack. Kevin Harvick strapping into his machine. He's been very fast in practice yesterday. We'll see how he does in qualifying. Sunday NASCAR race day roars into Phoenix with only 2 races remaining in the chase. Texas winner Kurt Busch will join us live. Plus, we'll break down Hendrick's dominance in the desert. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot live Sunday at 12:30 Eastern. Trucks lining up. Taylor Malsom off the racetrack. 28.402 for Taylor, and that was 5th quick.
It was a good pickup on lap number 2 for
yeah,
Taylor.
6/10, right?
Yeah, Taylor and James Busch, remember early in the season, were really locked in a very tight rookie battle. And then all of a sudden, Johnny Sauter came on and has been unbelievable here the last 2-3 months, and has opened up probably an insurmountable lead in that battle.
Well, and he was the fastest truck in practice yesterday too, so he's got it going again here at Phoenix, and that truck's been really impressive. You're right.
Norm Benning coming off the racetrack. He solidified a little sponsorship for the hood of that race truck. Reaction energy drink on the hood for Norm Benning. And again, he was 8th quick in the qualifying session. He was about 0.4 of a second faster on his second lap.
Wasn't there an energy drink last week called Coma Energy Drink?
I believe there was.
I think it's actually on the 02 truck that Terry
correct.
Cook is running this today.
That's correct.
But Coma just don't sound energetic to me.
Not normal. Let's go trackside to Ray.
Well, Mikey, just to let you know about that, Coma is actually a relaxation drink, not an energy drink. So that's the important factor there. Let's talk to Stacy Compton. You're in your Safe Auto truck ready to go. How much better is your second lap expected to be than your first one here at Phoenix?
Well, it should be a lot better. Safe Auto Toyo was good yesterday. We made a lot of changes. I think we were 6th on the board, and Marcus was telling me all the changes he made. I said, well, it's a good thing we wasn't 7th on the board, I guess. But we made a lot of changes. We knew the track was going to get tight tonight, and sort of first lap, we're probably going to feel it out. We changed brake pads. We changed a little everything, and second lap should be a lot better. I mean, I think normally probably a 10th or 2. Hopefully for us to be a little bit more.
All right, he's got a couple of 4ths here, and his best career finish is a 3rd, hoping to improve on that tonight here at Phoenix.
Kyle Busch's first lap, the fastest first lap we've seen at 27.774. That already slots him into the number 2 spot. We'll see if he gets the 3 to 4/10 pickup on lap 2 that everyone else has been receiving.
Oh, there he is, Phil. Yeah. Sideways again, trying to get off that 4th turn, but darn.
Still going to pick it up, though.
To the top of the charts goes Kyle Busch, 27.632. He will again try to do the triple, where he tries to win the truck race, win the nationwide race, and win the cup race. A gallon of fuel a week ago, and he would have done it. Unbelievable season for Kyle Busch, and really
career.
Yeah, well, it's a career for most people, but you could almost say he was doing what he did a year ago. I mean, he had phenomenal numbers in 2008, and he's trying to back him up in 09.
He's working it too. Watch this now. Watch his hands.
He had his foot all the way on the floorboard, and the thing just, you look at him, he's just working that wheel to try to get some grip in those rear tires. And that again, that's a couple tenths, but we've seen every truck so far struggle getting off turn 4, and Kyle had enough of a, he had a fast enough first lap to where he got almost everything out of that truck on that lap.
Well, when you go to qualify your Napa Toyota, remember that turn 4 thing we've been watching.
Yes, and I will. We have about 300 more horsepower.
to try to get hooked up.
To try to get to the ground. Fortunately, hopefully it'll be a little cooler a little later when we go qualify that car.
Phil, you and I have seen this young man drive in the Camping World West Series a few times. Jamie Dick now making the move over into the Camping World Truck Series here at Phoenix.
He's got 30 starts in the Camping World West Series with 8 top 10 finishes. Always very competitive in the West Series.
Driving that 88 car in the Camping World West Series, and now he's got the 08 truck here at Phoenix. First lap, Jamie Dick 29.112. That slots him in the 9th position.
Jamie made his debut back at Iowa in the Camping World Truck Series. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You could hear the tires squeal up here.
What a save, though.
We have seen some trucks get loose, but none of them have been close to how loose Jamie Dick was coming through 3 and 4.
And you know, he did a great job, Bill, because that thing was way out. He had that wheel cranked to the right. He was still giving it some gas, trying to get his back tires hooked up, and so easy for him to overcorrect that truck, and it turned head on into that outside wall. So the save was awesome, but also not over-saving it.
Yeah, you actually have to be turning back the other direction before it even gets straight. Look how far that thing.
Look at him. See him working it back to the left. He's left, right. But you're right. Like when you think it's about hooked up, you got to start turning to the left, because if you wait to when it is hooked up, it's too late.
Into the wall you will go. And Jamie Dick comes off the racetrack. He is 9th quick on his first lap at 29.112. He slowed it down on lap number 2.
This is the truck that everybody's going to watch. Kevin Harvick, even though he wasn't the quickest truck in practice, in his overall speed, he was very, very consistent. And Kevin Harvick is incredible out here at Phoenix International Raceway.
Well, in this final practice session, he ran his fastest lap on lap 5 yesterday, and he ran 21 laps total. So that tells me he didn't never make the qualifying run. That was just a race run. He ran a fast lap on lap 5, ran it out to 21's happy with his truck. Didn't make a qualifying run. We heard Eric Almirola say the same thing, that he didn't make a qualifying run yesterday either.
27.887 for Kevin Harvick on lap number 1. He's another driver that's going to try for the triple. He has won in all 3 series at this racetrack. Now he's going to try to do it in one weekend.
This will be the key of whether Kevin Harvick can get this pole, Phil. Can he get off turn 4 straight? I think his first lap's fast enough. If he can get it off this corner.
Boy, he looks pretty good. He looks as good as anybody has coming up off of 4.
And does he go to the top? He sure does. 27.548 for Kevin Harvick.
He just didn't get sideways, didn't slip a wheel off turn 4, and it gave him enough to get the pole.
Adam Alexander is standing by with the 2nd quickest driver.
And Kyle Busch was watching with us on the monitor how Kevin Harvick was able to negotiate turn 4. Was that the difference?
I probably could have only ran at 55. That's what I said. So he beat me anyway. But yeah, I just didn't get through turns center of 3 and 4 off the corner on the 2nd lap. But Harvick's the best truck here, man. It's going to be hard to beat him tonight. He's going to be really fast.
He's one of many good trucks lined up this evening. Your perspective on going for 6 consecutive wins in this series?
Well, with the 4 truck out there, it's not going to happen very easy. So we'll just see what we can get. We know it's going to be hard to deal. And, you know, if Harvick has a bad pit stop or gets back in traffic or whatever, if it comes down to getting tires at the end and that works for us, we'll see. You know, it's never over till it's over, but it's almost looking over.
Kyle on an amazing run. He's got his work cut out for him tonight, Ray.
And Mike Bliss climbing into the number 25 here. Of course, Bliss, a former winner at this racetrack. Mike, tell me about your truck. How good is it?
It wasn't too bad yesterday. I think we were about 7th or 8th quick in practice time. So it's pretty good. You know, we race at night, which I love racing at night here. So I think we'll qualify good, and we'll have a decent run, I think.
All right, we wish you good luck. And guys, here, let me show you the side of the truck here. You might notice, of course, that this is number 25 right here. How about Phil and Michael? I got a little trivia question for you. Harris Trucking has never won in this series yet, but there is a victory here for number 25. Do you know who got it?
Kenny Schrader?
No, it wasn't Kenny Schrader.
He's a 25 driving guy.
Let me just.
No. Was it Bobby Hamilton Jr.?
While you're pondering that, Brian Scott 4th quick in his qualifying run at 27.770. We've got 6 drivers that have broke that 28-second mark.
I bet you it was Stacy Compton.
You think it was Stacy Compton?
It was Stacy Compton.
Well, I was gonna try to look smart, but Russell's sitting over there just working it, not coming up with anything.
Actually, Russell has the most confused look on his face I've ever seen. So that is a scary thing for us up here in the booth.
Russell's our stat guy. He knows everything, and he can't come up with that. You think you're right, Phil?
Let's go down trackside, and we'll hear from Adam Alexander first.
Kevin Harvick currently quickest, but you told me you don't think it will stand. Why?
Well, the 13's really fast. he was really good in qualifying trim yesterday. But this Longhorn Chevrolet is really, really fast in race trim. Just got to thank everybody at KHI for building a brand new truck to come here and see if we can't make it a little bit better. I didn't quite get everything I needed to up off of 4, so we'll see where it falls. It should still be a good spot.
Kevin Harvick, 4 career wins in the Truck Series, 3 of them coming right here at Phoenix.
You know, I was talking to Ernie Koch, who is Kevin Harvick's nationwide crew chief, and he's also crew chief in this truck as well. And he said this is actually the 2010 version of KHI's trucks. This is the truck that they will race next year. Ron Hornaday and Kevin, whoever else may run the second truck. But this is the latest and greatest out of the KHI shops.
Stacy Compton on his first lap, 7th quick, coming to the stripe now. Let's see if he moves up. He does to 5th, 27.774. And after this break, we'll come back and Michael Waltrip is going to give us the answer to that Ray Dunlap trivia question. We'll be right back on qualifying. Welcome back. Qualifying continues for the Camping World Truck Series from Phoenix International Raceway. Richard Harriman coming off the racetrack. That number 47, he was 13th quick at 29.408.
You know, everybody on the broadcast today is kind of tired of Phil yelling at him. Are you sensing that? Every time I say something,
I'm actually giving him a little distance because I'm afraid he might shoot at me one of these times.
Now I'm getting the producer in my ear saying, what's wrong with Phil?
Timothy Peters on the racetrack for his qualifying run.
This has been a great story of this 2009 season, hasn't it?
Sure has. Started with his own team this year and moved over to Red Horse Racing, got in victory lane at his home track at Martinsville. And I wouldn't holler at Timothy if he was here.
9th quick on lap number 1 for Timothy Peters, 28.385. While he's finishing the second lap, Michael, I think you came up with the driver of the 25 that had won in this series, and it is?
The driver that was driving number 25 in 2000 at Nashville was Randy Tolson.
That's correct. Yeah. I was there.
You were there?
I think you called the race, didn't you?
I did call that race.
Timothy Peters across the start-finish line. Does he pick it up on lap 2? Just one spot, 28.140. So he does not break into that 27-second margin. Matt Crafton is 7th quickest at 27.934. Again, the mark everyone's shooting for, Kevin Harvick at 27.548.
We got 7 trucks down in that 27-second bracket.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from Johnny Sauter. Kevin Harvick says you're the man to beat in qualifying today. What do you think of that?
I hope he's right. Just had a phenomenal practice yesterday with our Fun Sand Curb Record Chevy. Proud of all the guys. This is a truck we felt like we should have won Loudon with, and I don't know, it's got a lot of speed, especially in a long run. So hopefully we can go out there and get the pole, and if not, hopefully we're in the top 5 somewhere. We can race them from there, buddy.
All right, we wish you good luck. A 27.3, I think, in practice yesterday, guys.
Yeah, he was extremely fast, and if he's able to back that up in qualifying, he will certainly be up at the front. If not on the pole, he'll be outside, you would think. Kevin Harvick right now, though, has that mark at 27.541 as we see Crawford on the track.
You know, generally we see a couple of hundredths of a second separate the first 2 or 3 guys. At least no more than a tenth. But from first to second, Johnny Sauter had 2/10 of a second of cushion. So he's got to feel real confident about this run.
You know, this racetrack, as watching the Nationwide cars practice as well as the Sprint Cup cars practice, really changed a lot. You know, it was a little bit cloudy this morning during the first Nationwide practice, and then when the sun popped out, the racetrack immediately slowed down. Same thing with the Cup practice. You know, it started out sunny, then there was a stage right towards the end where it got a little bit cloudy, and a lot of speed came into the racetrack. So, you know, these guys essentially practiced in entirely overcast conditions yesterday. We never really hardly saw the sun.
Yeah, and under the lights.
And under the lights.
The end of the practice.
So this is a little bit of a change, really, condition-wise, for what they saw yesterday.
And I feel that's evident by these guys struggling to get off the 4th turn.
Pretty good.
Heard Crawford say a little bit loose. He was 8th quick. He dropped into that 27-second mark. 27.949. He's 8th quick.
So the sun on the track and the tires, as they get a little bit of heat in them when they're trying to get off. The guy that looked the best off turn 4, Kevin Harvick, he said he didn't get everything he thought he could have gotten out of his truck off that turn. So guys are struggling a little bit. Now you got to think you'd want to be a little bit loose right now, right, for qualifying to be right for tonight.
So. Absolutely, because these trucks obviously they're impounded, so the very, very minor adjustments they will be able to make prior to race time, so that they would, I think, historically would like to be just a little bit on the loose side, knowing that, boy, tonight, when we burn the fuel off and the air pressure builds up in the tires, we should be right on.
Now on the racetrack, Mike Bliss. I'll throw one other trivia question at you. Mike Bliss was one, but there are 3 drivers in the field today that were in the very first race ever in the Camping World Truck Series. Of course, Mike Bliss being one. Do you know the other 2?
Ron Hornaday?
Yes.
And?
Who won that first race?
I got mine. So
the guy that won that first race.
That's exactly right. Mike Skinner won the very first Camping World Truck Series race. Mike Bliss was actually in that very first race alongside of Hornaday.
Do you remember the checker flag being thrown? Skinner holding off Terry Labonte right up on the side of him. That sort of set the tone for the Truck Series. We've had great racing ever since that first race. Side by side coming to the checker that night.
Bliss 4th quick in his qualifying effort at 27.673. We mentioned the name Mike Skinner. He actually missed the drivers' meeting today, so no matter where he qualifies, there you take a look at him, no matter where he qualifies, he will have to start at the back of the field.
Well, he wasn't shaving when he missed that driver's meeting.
At least not the beard. We'll be back. Tonight on Speed NASCAR's championship chase heads to Phoenix, and everyone is revved up for the ultimate Friday night house party. Don't miss NASCAR trackside Ryan Newman, David Rudiman tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Both drivers winners in the Camping World Truck Series.
Yes.
Ryan Newman won in Atlanta last year, and Rudiman won at Nashville
in 04. Driving for DW?
I believe that's correct. DW was in victory lane when he got the guitar.
That was a great race, too. Remember that?
Yes,
coming down the end. Skinner was leading. Somebody blew a motor, and they all slid through the oil, and David hit the wall, but yet still was able to get back and win the race.
Chad McCumbee out on the racetrack now in the 07 for his qualifying effort. McCumbee 11th quick on his first lap, 28.170.
Has T.W. and Valvoline on board that S&S Greenlight Racing truck.
Fuel proof with Valvoline.
Probably another truck that'll be able to drop her down into that 27-second bracket, Rick. He's got to pick up just over 10th and a half in order to do that. And that's a good looking lap right there. I believe that'll get him well into 27.
He got off turn 4, it looked like very well.
Was 11th on his first lap, 5th on his second lap, 27.767, a big pickup. 0.4 of a second for Chad McCumbee. Let's go back trackside to AA.
And Mike Bliss has replaced Terry Cook in the 25 truck for the final 2 races of 2009. And I've decided we're just going to go out and get you a different color driving suit for every week, because you're always with a different team and always successful, it seems. How'd you feel about the lap?
You know, I was kind of disappointed. I really wasn't ready. I don't know why. Just mentally, I got in it, and a truck reacts different than a car, and it just kind of turns a lot better. And in 1 and 2, I just was a little hesitant on the gas. I don't know why, but it was really good. 3 and 4 was real good, so pretty excited. I think we're going to race real well, and I'm really glad to be back on the trucks.
4th quick is where he is right now, right?
Ron Hornaday climbing into the VFW truck here. Your boss is on top of the board, Ron. You got anything for him?
I don't even think I'm going to even try. That's a pretty quick time. We got a pretty good truck. The VFW truck is good. We'll just see what we got.
All right, getting ready here, climbing in. Hornaday, knowing that his boss is the fastest of the day.
You think we ought to just...
what's happened here?
He's not going to try? Is that what he's saying?
Ron Hornaday's not going to try. And Kyle Busch has already handed him the trophy?
For the race tonight.
Yeah.
For the race tonight. That's total anarchy.
This is unbelievable. These guys, I think there's a competition that takes place.
That young man's going to try right there.
He sure is.
He is going to try, and does every single week with that gunbroker.com Dodge.
He's had a great year, had a breakout year, I think. You know, we've seen this truck come from the late teens up into the top 5, consistently running up in the top 10. So great job by Jason and his whole team getting that truck competitive. Picks it up to 28.178, 12th fastest for Jason White.
The thing I like about Jason, I talked to him yesterday, and he has his goals in perspective. He said, you know what, I think we might have a good truck here. I think we're a top 10 truck. I think I can run in the top 10. He doesn't have aspirations. I mean, he has aspirations to get into victory lane, but he also knows his equipment and he knows what he can get out of it.
You know, another thing, Jason was telling me earlier that he bought one of those very potent Roush Fenway Fords for Daytona for next year. So, you know, they're going to step up that program.
We still got a couple of races to go in 09, but everybody's focus is turning toward, at least part of their focus is turning toward Daytona in that 010 season. It's good to see that team being being ready to come out at Daytona with a strong truck.
Make sure you stay focused on this truck. This one is one of the fastest in practice. We'll see how he does against Kevin Harvick. While we're watching him, let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, you talk about Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick doing the triple here. Another guy hoping to do that, Kevin Conway. He's getting strapped in right now. And Kevin, how difficult of a task is it to try to come here, make your debut in this series, and try to get into all 3 races?
You know, it's been really tough. This is also my first time at Phoenix International Raceway, and it's a track that's got a lot of character. It's pretty technical, so it's just been figuring out the racetrack, and it's been tough jumping between all the different cars and making our debut here. But I got to tell you, this Camping World truck has been a lot of fun, and we're in for a big weekend with all 3 Extend Chevrolets.
All right, we wish him good luck, and guys, he's been back and forth between the garages and lots of laps on the track.
Johnny Sauter trying to get that pole. He's working it coming out of 4. Does he get up there? He does. 27.477 for Johnny Sauter.
This is fun.
Yeah, I would say there's a good chance he never backed off while we saw his hands go back and forth.
27.47. That's number 1, P1.
Watch this now.
Hands
very
full.
loose. On throttle.
Yeah.
Awesome job. I love you guys. Man.
Watch his hands now.
If I could have got to the gas, it would have been bad ugly.
And that means fast is what he's talking
That's
about.
10-4.
Well, that's a great lap.
It would have been fast.
It would have been fat. Now you're going into that. Another terminology for me.
He was happy with his truck and happy with his guys. And
was he down with it?
He was on it.
Yeah. And he wasn't too disappointed that he was loose up off of 4 either.
Well, it's been fun to watch these guys battle these trucks and know what they have to do in order to be able to be up front, and just asking the truck to give it to them and then dealing with what they get out of it.
Now, does Ron Hornaday really lie down and say, no, that's too tough of a lap, or does Hornaday get after it? This we're watching Todd Bodine.
We know Ron Hornaday. We talked earlier that he was one of the guys in the very first race here in 1995, and I've never known Ron Hornaday not to give it 100% every time he gets in a truck.
Look back 1 year. The first lap, he's racing Kyle Busch for the lead, and he's got a championship on the line, and he wrecks at this racetrack. I mean, the guy is always on the chip.
That's like last week when he and Kyle Busch got together. Phil said, I think Ron's just going to pull over. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm not sure about that. I bet you Ron's mad, actually. And he was. He tried to get a hold of Kyle Busch and expressed after the race that he didn't appreciate the way he was raced. Good lap by Todd Bodine. He pulls up into the 9th spot. Another truck down in the 27-second bracket. 27.794. That's a good pickup, good looking truck, good run for that team.
Copart back on the hood for Todd Bodine for the remainder of the season. You see a little bit of steam bubbling out of the right front of that truck where the overflow is. And Johnny Sauter climbs out of his race truck, and he is the fastest at this racetrack, 27.477. Adam.
And he had to work hard for this one. Your arm sore? You were solid on the wheel, but it gets you the pole. Your thoughts?
I just hope it holds up. Obviously, super proud of Joe Shear, all these guys on this Bud Sand Kurt Record Chevy. I mean, this has been a good truck for us, truck 27, and I love this place. I've always ran well here, and I love the opportunity to come here and race. So hopefully it holds up for the pole. If not, it'll be a decent starting spot, and I know we're really good in race stream, so I'm looking forward to tonight.
Just over 10 trucks to go. They're all chasing Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, this is the truck right here that was 8th quickest in practice. Ooh, a little wiggle over there, Mikey, on coming off turn number 4.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt. Phil, that's going to give him issues for both laps. You know, it hurt his first lap, but then coming to the white,
he's going to shut it off.
Yeah, and coming to the white, it messed him up for that as well.
Yeah. He knows that no matter where he qualifies, they've already picked pits. Usually people want to get a good qualifying lap so they can have a good pick position for the pits. They've already picked because they parked these trucks on pit road. They picked by owner points last week, so Mike Skinner knows where he's going to start pit on pit road, so there's no sense he's going to have to start the back anyway.
Takes a lap off his tires.
That's
These
right.
tires fall off. Usually after 5-6 laps, they start going the other way, so he saved a lap there.
How about this little conversation going on? Brad Sweet getting a little advice from, well, his owner in the USAC division. That's Casey Kane that's talking with him.
We saw Casey Kane very, very much involved with Brad's practice yesterday in the truck. He was on top of pit wall. He was out on pit road, all over the place trying to help Brad in his adjustment to the trucks.
Here's a guy that said he wasn't going to go for the pole.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how well
I'll be
that
surprised
goes.
if we don't see his hands over in turn 4. But pretty good that lap so far. He can get off the corner.
Stand down low. Looks like a good first lap for Ron Hornaday. We'll see how quick. Fifth quick for Hornaday on lap 1, 27.657. I'll tell you what, he said the 27.5 that Harvick put up was too fast and he couldn't get after it.
I'll bet you he beats Kevin Harvick.
Well, we'll see how he does in 3 and 4.
With that first lap, he's got a shot to go up there and get the pole.
See if he can get off turn number 4. Gets through the center of 3 and 4 pretty well.
Here he comes.
Boy, he looks good. 4.
Let's see what happens. Cross the stripe. Third quick. He doesn't go faster than Kevin Harvick.
By 2/1000ths of a second slower than Kevin Harvick.
Let's see. Where would we like to go to dinner tonight, Phil? Since he's spying. More qualifying from Phoenix next. Speed's coverage of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying from Phoenix is brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. The boys move forward in his qualifying effort. 28.782. He's 21st quick. The 26 that have been on the racetrack. And Adam Alexander is with maybe a wolfing Ron Hornaday.
And Ron just climbed from the race truck. A few words for the crew. Third quick. You feel good about it?
Yeah, I thought that was a little better than I thought I was going to do. But, yeah, I just got her down in the 3 too hard and got the brakes. The back rolled up and had to catch the front end with it. But we'll take that. Good starting spot. And we're not going to do what we did last year. We're just going to go out and try to run this race.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Ray?
Well, let's talk to Ricky Carmichael. A brand new deal this week. How you liking it at Turner Motorsports?
I love it. Just thankful for the opportunity. Got to thank Steve Turner and Kevin Harvick for putting this together. It's new. Next couple weeks are going to be tough, but next year's going to be awesome. And just glad to be in this thing and being able to race here in Phoenix.
Well, guys, we're really looking forward to a chance for him to run all the races. You know, over his career, Ricky has always been number 4 whenever he goes motorcycle racing. He's been number 4, and I think he will be next year. But it's a 31 this weekend. I got a way to fix that. How about this? We'll go 3 + 1. That equals a 4.
They're gonna holler at Ray for riding on that man's truck.
Wayne Otten just called for Ray to go to the truck because he just put some type of a decal on a truck that wasn't approved by NASCAR. Okay, maybe not.
Ray's on it. He gets to ride on trucks.
He did. He got to ride on a truck.
I want to tell you how all in he is. If somebody's going to get married and they don't tell him first, he gets mad.
He would get mad.
He's wanting to make sure he's on every part.
Yeah, he's mad at Eric Almirola.
Kevin Conway came off the racetrack 19th quick in his qualifying effort at 28.475.
We know Kevin's going to race tonight, trying to do the triple header this weekend with extends, and Kevin will be in this field tonight.
That'd be a great feat to be able to make the truck, the nationwide, and the cup race all in one weekend.
You know, we're talking about Kyle Busch going for the triple, talking about Kevin Harvick going for the triple. You know, Kevin Conway's triple may, if he can make all 3 races, may be, you know, equally impressive.
Yeah, as impressive.
Obviously just trying to get going, get started with his career, making his first ever Camping World Truck Series start tonight and trying to make his first ever Sprint Cup Series start Sunday.
Here we see Derek White on the racetrack. Canadian out of Canada. I would love to say the hometown there. Kanawaki, maybe. Gonna go with 30.845 for lap number 1. You guys don't even want to try, do you?
That's the Mario Goslin truck. Now we'll see
correct.
Mario back with MyTireMonkey.com on board next week at Homestead.
28th quick for Derek White on his first lap.
It picks it up all the way up to 25th. Picked up about 3/4 of the second, Phil, and got up to.
This guy raced on ice and all sorts of things in Canada.
They've got a lot of that up there.
We've seen the track be a little bit slick. The guys coming out of 3 and 4. Earlier it was Casey Kane that was giving Brad Sweet advice. Now Ray Dunlap down there.
Well, marital advice probably. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him any advice, but I do want to ask him, how do you like Phoenix and in being in a Camping World truck?
Oh, it's exciting. You know, it's the first race here, and for Great Clips and Doug Stringer to give me this opportunity, you know, I just can't thank them enough.
We're very excited to know that they've got at least 10 races scheduled for 2010. And guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do a little work over the offseason and make that schedule expand just a bit.
Brett Thompson on the racetrack right now. Brett's a regular competitor in the Camping World West Series, actually a former winner in the series. I believe he won back at Bakersfield maybe in '03 or something like that.
He races that 61 number over there in the Camping World West Series as well. Big race coming up here in a couple weeks out in
Irwindale. Actually, the end of January. Remember, they moved that to January. That's right.
A couple months.
We'll have it right here live on Speed.
I love that event, man.
Oh, me too.
Best short track racers from all over the country converge to Irwindale, California.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that Brett and his wife just had a new baby?
I did not.
Baby Taylor came into the world 3 weeks ago.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah, he told me he's going to name him Tater. He said he thinks that'd be a cooler name for a race car driver. Tater Thompson.
29.233 on lap 1. Picks it up on lap number 2. He's 22nd quick at 28.680. 36 trucks qualifying for the 36 spots. We'll be back with more qualifying here at Phoenix. When you dream, do you dream in speed? Introducing the Speed Dream Ride. You'll see new shows, old favorites, and have the chance to win an experience you've never dreamed possible. The Speed Dream Ride is coming soon. Presented by Castrol Edge. Find out more at speeddreamride.com. Terry Cook was on the racetrack in the 0-2, and he was 28th quick. He is extending a consecutive streak that is really unmatched. 200, and it will be his 296th consecutive start in this series tonight.
That is incredible. Over 10 years worth.
Ricky Carmichael now on the racetrack. We've talked about him transitioning over to Turner Motorsports. It's the 31 on the side of that Monster Energy drink race truck this weekend.
He took his crew chief, John Monson, with him.
He's got, I guarantee he thinks he can get a top 5 start out of this truck. Get that thing up toward the front.
He's got a shot at getting in that 27-second bracket too. Ran a 30 on the first lap, 28.30.
Ooh, a little low off 4 there. Maybe didn't have the momentum he wanted to carry through the center of the corner. Cut that turn a little bit short. Does get it down in the 27-second bracket. Becomes the 14th truck to do so. He runs a 27.926 and slots in 13. So good run for Ricky.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially new team. They ran, remember, last week with Scott Wimmer. Was essentially their debut for Turner Motorsports. Looking to run 2 trucks next year with Ricky driving 1 full-time and James Busher driving another truck, what his schedule will permit. He's going to run a full season for the Miccosukee team in the Nationwide Series for James Finch.
Busy schedule.
We had the chill out drink followed by the energy drink.
That's right. And you said it was a weird name for an energy drink, Coma, but it's a great name for a relaxation drink.
I get that.
Yeah.
Saw Casey Kane watching his driver, Brad Sweet, now on the racetrack, at least in the USAC division.
Casey was here yesterday trying to help Brad along, learned as much as he could about this mile oval here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Lap number 1 for the Great Clips, number 90, as he works his way through 3 and 4. It's been the troubled spot coming out of 4, getting back into the power and trying to keep those rear wheels on the ground.
Brad made a couple starts in the ARCA Remax Series this year in that Great Clips car for Stringer Motorsports. See lap number 1, 29.057.
I like this time of year, Phil. You see new teams emerging. You see new drivers getting opportunities. Everybody trying to get a plan together for the following season. But you get to see a lot of folks that you hadn't seen around a lot.
Brad being one of those, certainly. Kevin Conway, another one of those that we haven't seen really ever here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Lap 2 for Sweet, picks it up, 28.665. He is 23rd quick. 32 have been on the racetrack. That means 4 more before we'll be concluding qualifying from Phoenix. Stay with us. Welcome back. Robbie Brand coming off the racetrack. He was 33rd quick of the 33 that have been on the track. The second lap was a little quicker, 30.708 than his first lap. Now the 0-5 on the racetrack, that's Wayne Edwards. He's been in and out of the series last couple years.
Wayne had a top 10 finish at Daytona a few years ago.
Looks like the just tell the attitude of that truck's quite a bit off of what we saw our fast trucks going earlier. And I think that's interesting for us to look at as a race car people, but the fans at home as well. You can just, if you look at these things closely, you can really see who has this setup scienced out and figured out and who doesn't. And this 05 truck just doesn't seem to have his front end where it needs to be. Ray, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was just wondering about the paint scheme on this truck, Michael. At first I thought maybe he was doing some sort of a tribute to the Michigan Wolverines. He said, absolutely not. He said, I'm from Kentucky. Why would I root for Michigan? I said, I don't know why anybody would root for Michigan.
Wow. That obviously is coming from somebody that's from Ohio.
Ohio State, I think, is making that statement. 31st quick for Wayne Edwards. He was 30.230 on lap number 2. So we have 2 trucks remaining to take to the racetrack. Chris Lafferty and Tim George Jr. Chris Lafferty had troubles with the motor yesterday.
That 05 truck would have looked really good with a big Napa sticker on it. It had the right
Napa blue.
Yeah, it had that all going on for it. Plus, as Ray was saying, the president of Napa, he's from Ohio State. He's an Ohio State grad. So I would hand right along with
goes hand in hand with everything that Ray was talking about. This is Tim George Jr. that's on the racetrack now. Looks like Chris Lafferty will go on the 5-minute clock. And that 89, he was scheduled to go out before Tim George Jr. Tim George Jr. goes 28th quick on his first lap, 29.724.
We're hearing this may be a full-time team next year.
That's a children's truck,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, this is an RCR truck. We know Austin Dillon's going to attempt to run the full schedule next year, and he will be joined by Tim George Jr. in this number 22 RCR Chevrolet. Don't know if that's the number they're going to use next year, but Tim was a regular competitor this year in the ARCA Remax Series. I believe he finished in the top 10 in points, if I'm not mistaken. He's actually 11th in points in the ARCA Remax Series, so just outside the top 10.
He was 26 quick in his qualifying effort, 28.830.
You were wrong, Phil.
That doesn't ever come out of your mouth. I can't believe you said that.
This is another example of what I was talking about earlier about new teams and new opportunities for 2010. And so these guys are gearing up to go racing next year.
Another example of me being wrong. Point out earlier.
We've got 5 drivers that will be making their first ever start in the Camping World Truck Series. Now on the racetrack, it's Chris Lafferty has fired that engine up and is out on the track.
We're going to shine a spotlight on some of those drivers later on tonight.
We'll do that, and again, 5:30 local time here in Phoenix will be the setup with Chris Devoda at Camp Krista.
That's 7:30 Eastern time.
7:30 Eastern time. Michael Waltrip, thank you for joining us. I know you've got a little bit of work to do before you come back up here for television.
I'm going to go qualify the Napa Toyota.
It's only 3 laps. I mean, warm-up lap in 2 laps, it'll only take them about a minute and a half.
Hey, by the way, I believe that's another shot that we're going to mark down. Phil taking at Michael. That's 3 now.
He just got on me a minute ago and said I was wrong.
What did I do?
I don't know. Chris Lafferty on his first lap, 32.127. Again, he had engine problems yesterday. It looks like they're kind of shaking that thing down now. We have 36 trucks here, so he's locked into the field. He will start later on this evening.
And Johnny Sauter will be on the pole for this race tonight.
Johnny Sauter extremely quick, 27.477. Michael, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. And I'm going to make sure Phil doesn't say anything mean to me anymore. I'm leaving.
Have a great qualifying effort, Michael.
All right, Chris Lafferty crosses the start-finish line. Let's go trackside to Adam Alexander.
And Rick, when Johnny Sauter climbed from his truck after that qualifying run, you said, I just hope it stands up, and it did. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. When you interviewed me before, when I got out of the truck, I think I was still a little high-strung. So super effort on all the guys at ThorSport, all the guys back at the shop. This is a truck that we've only run a couple times this year, and every time we do, it's super fast. So can't say enough. Fun Sand Curb Record Chevy was awesome, and thank God I'm not a superstitious guy. It's Friday the 13th. We're in the 13 truck, so hopefully that doesn't mean anything, but we'll just go through tonight. We had a great truck last night in practice and felt like we were really good in race trim. So to be able to get the pole here, that's a huge accomplishment for Joe Shear and all the guys.
Second pole of the year. He tries to get win number 2 tonight as well. Guys?
I don't think I'd be superstitious. I think I would kind of cling to that. Maybe that's your good luck charm, the number 13 today. Johnny Sauter gets his second career pole, and outside of him, Kevin Harvick has 3 wins at this very racetrack in the trucks.
I'll tell you what a great race we have lined up for tonight. Look at this top 5. Johnny Sauter, Kevin Harvick front row. Ron Ron Hornaday, Kyle Busch in the second row, then Eric Almirola, Mike Bliss in the third row, Chad McCumbee, Brian Scott. Terrific field here tonight.
Yeah, we can go down the list. Matt Crafton's going to start on the outside of row number 7. Again, he is 197 points behind Ron Hornaday in this championship. It could be decided tonight, or we could take it all the way to Homestead Miami Speedway in a week. But you want to make sure to stay tuned. Tonight, it is the next race in the season,
That's
which
the
you
most
always say
important
is the most important race.
Absolutely, the most important race of the year.
24th race of the 2009 season. Johnny Sauter will bring the field to the green flag this evening. He gets interviewed. Again, Chris Devoto will bring us the Camping World Truck Series setup presented by Copart.com at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 8 o'clock, it's the Lucas Oil 150. We'll see everyone with their hands full, and I'm not so sure they'll be smiling. 3 + 1 is 4. That's Kevin Harvick. Well, that's his number 4. Thanks for joining us here for qualifying. Stay with us here on Speed.